This is a piece that come out of the tank at Jerry Run. When they drain the tank,
Okay,
can't get it all out.
right.
So they go in, it breaks up into chunks like this, and you go in there and you take them out. Yeah, I've got several of them at home, and that's where that would come out of my yard.
So that now, would it be a slightly green color to the glass, the window glass
But,
then?
no, when it comes out, it'll be clear.
It would be clear,
If
okay.
you see, it's got some, lines through it, see it?
Mm-hmm, yep,
That's,
right,
this has probably come out when it first went into the furnace area because it wasn't stirred up yet. That's
Okay.
probably sand or silica in there.
right, okay.
But they went through a couple big stirs after it come out of
So it'd be clear then,
where the burners were that fired on the batch material. It come out into another section and stirred
okay.
after it was melted.
Okay. So what different sized windows did you make on this type of table? Would you make up to maximum? What would your maximum be?
We would probably do, like on this one, a 48 square,
Okay.
something like that.
And then down to quite small pieces?
Yeah, we get down to like 5 by 7s, things like that for. But then slides, we never did make any slides. We always
Okay.
shipped the glass, and the other the company that uses slides cut their own.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you did some TV screens.
Yeah, we
That
made,
you
PPG
cut?
made TV.
That would be
screen.
what, quite a thin,
It was
thin glass?
a gray glass, they called it.
So
And
that was colored to give it that
Mhm.
gray?
It was gray. And,
Okay.
but they made it. And then the government come out one time and said that they had to have a coating on that for radiation.
Right.
So PPG tried, they drained one tank and changed color, and they tried putting lead in the glass, and it was a flop.
Is that right?
It never did come out right. So that was the end of
Into that.
that glass. Diamonds were used to cut the glass. And you had to have a cut on the diamond. And each diamond had 4 points on it.
Okay.
And you'd take the diamond and you would go like this and scratch. And then when you pick that glass up and hold it like this, it would show whether
Where
you
the
got
line-
the cut on or not. If it was real bright, you had to cut. And if you didn't, you would turn this a little bit more and do the same thing over again until you get a cut.
Okay.
And a lot of times, cut lasts for a long time, and other times it wouldn't last very long. Then you take the diamond and go to the other point, another point.
Okay.
And you got through all 4 points on that,
Right.
you would give it to the guy and he'd reset them. He would turn that diamond around.
Really?
And so you'd have 4 more points. And that's how you use the diamonds. And then they come up with the wheels, carbide wheels. That put the cutters out of business right there, the
Okay.
carbide wheel. Because they found out they could cut it with steel wheels. They tried, they couldn't do it because they'd freeze. The cuts would freeze. And but when they got the carbide wheels,
Works good
it
for them.
took care of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You mentioned that the diamonds did wear out though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The cuts will wear out.
And then where did they buy them? Where did they buy the diamonds?
They had certain people that sold them, and and they reset them too. I don't know where you ever heard of Rennie Zabot. He was one of them in Clarksburg. He was a big diamond seller.
Okay, can you tell us about some of the other
Okay,
tools and parts?
these were slide plugs. Here, what you did, you put the plug on there, and then put your splitter against it like that, and you pull it down, and that give you your fraction. These were early, these fractions. They had wooden ones. There's a wooden one here. These were handmade. The staples in there. It does the same thing. You put it on there,
Sure.
you pull your splitter down, and it gives you your plug. These are cutting wheels that goes in here. And that also they used them on the machines, the cutting wheels. There was different angles for different thickness of glass. And this is Jerry runs material, batch material. This is what they
That's right,
mix
so he's looking the other way.
in the furnace. Before it went in the furnace, they mix it, and then it melted and made the glass, clear glass. Biggest thing that went in there was sand. That was the most. And let's see, these are all slide plugs too. These are slide plugs. And this is patterned glass from Kingsport, Tennessee. They made all patterned glass down there for your shower curtains, picnic tables, things like that.
So that was fairly recent, or
They're still in
you're
business
still
down
doing
there.
that now?
That, they had the big furnace, and then the glass come out of the furnace and down. But they had these rolls with this pattern on it. And that roll would put the pattern on the glass. Last time I was down there, they had a new pattern. It was a pretty flower pattern. I forget, I think it cost them $15,000 or $20,000 to have that roll made to make that glass, but it was pretty. And they used it for patio furniture. This is what they call a paddle, and it would go on the glass like this, and you would pull it. Like this, and it would cut it. You can set different sizes on here. It's upside down, but it still works. But you can change the sizes, and you can run it long. Like if you have a long piece, like 60 inches, it wouldn't go up this way. You could take this and cut it this way. And then this is my splitter, old splitter here that I use. It's got the diamond in it, and an oiler, little oiler. You dip it in the oil and pull it down too.
So how many years did you use that particular splitter? When did you start? And
Probably
end up?
probably about 10 years
Okay.
before the machines come in.
And so what years would that have been then?
That was from 53 until, let's see, 63, maybe about 12 years.
Okay. So it was really in the 60s that the
Yeah.
machines took over?
Yep, when they put the machines in.
Okay. I understand when you were using the carbide glass cutters that they had to be at a specific angle, perhaps to do with the thickness of the glass. Can you explain the angling a little bit for us?
Well, like single strength glass, used what they call a 124 wheel. And it was a real sharp wheel. And then the farther you go up, the heavier the glass got. You used a wider angle, up to 174, which the wheel wasn't as sharp. If you used this wheel on heavy, it would throw shavings and it would freeze real fast. But 174 wider angle wouldn't do that. It would penetrate the glass more than where this would just skim the top of it.
Okay, can you tell us what you mean by when you say the glass would freeze? What do you mean by the freezing?
That's why we used oil. The cut would freeze. It would turn white and freeze.
You mean then it wouldn't cut anymore because?
No, you couldn't separate it. It would.
Okay.
If you tried to run the cut, it would break out. It would just freeze. We call it freezing. Mm-hmm. And that's what it would do if you didn't use oil. Now, them people that put the stickers on the glass and the paper in between the glass, some of the glass was paper too. They didn't like you to use oil because it caused the glass to stick together. And they would come after you because they have your cutter's number, they knew who cut it. And they'd come after you.
All right, can you explain the word light and how it's used with glass?
Lights were a single piece of glass, like this. We call that a light of glass. And like you put it in a pallet, you may have 450 lights in there. And that's what it went by, is the lights. It'd be on these little stickers. It would tell you how many lights was in this container.
Where did that term come from, do you know?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
But that's what it was. It always was lights that I know of since I started there.